Okay. Hey everyone. Oh my gosh. This is new. Okay, this is new. Um just pulling up notes, slides, everything. So in the past, what I have done is I've done Zoom trainings and shared the replays. So this idea of doing it live and in the wild is a learning curve, shall we say. Thank you for being here. For those of you who are watching live, for those of you who are watching the replay, was a little bit late today because since things are different and things, new year, doing things differently, there's a bit of a learning curve. So I appreciate your patience with me. Let's just make sure everything is where it needs to be. And future masterclasses are going to be way smoother than this one. Okay, so here we go. Let me make sure I have this set up right in front of me. I've got everything I need right here. Okay, that's there. Good. Awesome. We're good to go. All right, so this is the very first masterclass, public free masterclass of the year. How this came to be was that I was really evaluating how things are progressing for me and progressing for my clients and progressing in terms of the vision that I have for myself and for my work in this world. And something that came up for me loud and clear at the end of last year was that I intend to make this work way more accessible to way more people. Part of that, part of that extension is helping to make this information digestible, accessible, and implementable for way more people. So of course, obviously, I still have paid products, but every month I've decided to run 2 public free trainings. So if you can catch it live, it is free for you. They will all be recorded and they will all be available in my monthly membership, which is also new at a much, much lower price. It's $47 a month. I'll talk about that later. That's where you can catch the replays if you don't make it live. Now, the master classes are going to be they're going to be of a teaching nature. So I want you to take notes. I want you to bring your notepads with you. You're able to, through YouTube, you're able to actually ask questions in the chat, which is super cool. Because what I had done before was the webinar feature of Zoom. Sometimes you weren't always allowed to ask questions or able to ask questions. That was kind of frustrating. So if there's anything that comes up for you, if you want more clarification about anything, feel free to pop that in the chat. I'm running master classes, which I said are of a teaching nature, once a month at the beginning of every month. It's going to be on a different topic. This month's topic is creating a vision for your next professional dream. So for those of you who are looking to make some professional moves, some career moves this year, this is where you need to be. What I encourage you to do is during this live stream, if there's something where it's like, oh my gosh, my friend needs to hear about this or my coworker needs to hear about this, go ahead and share the link to this video so that they can catch at least part of it. Okay. Like I said, the recordings will be available in the paid membership later, and all of them. So you can watch, let's say it's June, you can watch January's, February's, March, April, etc. You will have access to the entire archive, the entire repository of any video, any training when you join at the foundations level. In addition to the monthly masterclasses, which are going to be teaching subjects, I'm also doing at the end of every month, I think it's the final Thursday of every month, what are called monthly reflect and reset sessions. This is where we take a look at the month that has just passed or that is coming to a close. We take a look at what have you created, what have you accomplished, how have you grown, right? We're not looking at what did I not do? Oh my gosh, this is still on my list. I still haven't done this. Nobody needs that. Nobody needs to beat up on themselves. That doesn't help. That doesn't encourage you. It is an unsustainable form of motivation, and I'm not about that life. You can find that kind of motivation elsewhere. This month's Reflect and Reset is going to be on January 25th. at noon Mountain Time, which is 2 p.m. Eastern Time and 11 a.m. Pacific Time. For those of you who are overseas, I'm sorry, you'll have to do the math. I don't know off the top of my head what that is. Wherever you are, these are going to be the sessions where, like I said, we take a look at the month that is coming to a close. We celebrate what we have created. We acknowledge the progress that we have made, because we are always making progress, whether we recognize it or not. It's very important for us to call that out. And then we reset by taking a look at what's coming ahead for the next month. We get ourselves focused on our vision, our long-term, big, bold vision, which is actually what we're going to talk about today in today's content. And we set our goals, strategies, and tactics to make moves, tangible, measurable progress toward that vision in the next month. So we're not looking at, if I've never written a book before and my dream, my vision is to become a New York Times bestseller, how do I do that in 4 weeks? We're not doing that. We're saying, what can I do over the next 4 weeks that will move me in the direction of my dream measurably? And that is within my control based on what I have in terms of responsibilities and ways I've already allocated my time and energy for the coming month. Some months are going to be busier than others. We'll have different bandwidth at different times. We're going to take that into accommodation or into consideration every monthly reflect and reset session. So, overview of what all this is. Let's get back to the session at hand. The session at hand, now we're talking about the masterclass for the month of January. Thank you for those of you who were along for this messy ride, because growth is messy, right? Growth is messy. That's part of it. My commitment to you is that I show up regularly, even if it's very imperfectly. Like today, obviously we started late. There were some technical issues. I did not get the marketing out on time or anything like that. And that's okay. Nobody died in the process, right? We'll do it better next time and next time and next time and next time until this is a well-oiled machine. Cool. All right. So also something that I'm realizing now is that I don't know how to share my screen. I don't know if I can share my screen. So we'll figure that out before the next one. I had all these awesome slides for you to walk you through. So I'm just going to use them as notes behind the scenes. So if you see me kind of looking off to the side, it's because my slide deck is here and I'll use that as reference. So let's get into your vision, specifically your vision around your professional area of life. Okay, your career, your job, your vocation, basically how you are choosing to share your gifts and talents with the world. Now, this is something that you don't necessarily have to get paid for. So, for example, if you have your career, your job, your 9 to 5, and you're running smoothly and it's going great for you, but there's something else that's really calling for your attention, that is saying, hey, I want to start doing this, making this, whatever it is. This is for you as well. This is for that part of you as well. The money part of it, we can get to later, right? That could be part of your professional dream. It's not all of your professional dream. Okay. So let's get into this idea. I use the word dream and I use the word vision interchangeably. Now I like to stay away from dream more often, because sometimes, because of how we use that word, we think of a dream as something that is just this fantasy thing, this fantasy idea that stays as a fantasy. We don't treat dreams necessarily as things that we tangibly spend energy and resources going after. So this is why I like the word vision more often, but to make it a little bit more accessible. So for people who like immerse themselves in my world of personal and professional development, the idea of a dream and a vision are totally interchangeable. For those of you who are like, vision, like that's kind of new. That's a new term for me. Play with dream, but know that those dreams are not going to stay in dreamland. We're bringing them into your 3D reality. Okay, so just a little bit of nomenclature, getting that out of the way. Also, my commitment to you is to honor your time. This is going to be, as are all future masterclasses, 45 minutes long. It's not a 2-hour, deep dive session. This is 45 minutes of you making sure that you get focused content that you can walk away with and you can start implementing into your life right away. All right, so we started talking about what is a vision. Let's talk about what it is not. A lot of times people, when they first enter this work, they think their vision is a goal. It is something to achieve. And basically that ends up translating into a to-do list. Your vision is not a goal. Your vision is not a to-do list. Your vision is not a series of strategies. We get to those later, but for right now, we're leaning into the big, beautiful picture of what you would love. It's a simple question, but it's one that comes with a surprising amount of baggage. When we talk about what would I love, if you could have any life you wanted to, what would that look like? If you could do anything for work, what would that look like? There might be part of you that's like, oh, I would love to do this, or this would be amazing. And then very quickly, on the heels of that idea, are all the fears, are your survival system, are everything that is trying to keep you safe and buffer things like disappointment, rejection, failure, frustration, risk. Everything that is working to protect you from those things will sweep in and say things like, yeah, but you don't have the qualifications to do that. You don't have the network to do that. You didn't go to school to do that. That's going to take forever. Nobody succeeds in doing that, right? Nobody's hiring in that industry right now. It's going to say, here are all the reasons why that's not possible for you, so you shouldn't even want it in the first place. This type of work, visioning work, is the space where you get to dream unfiltered. Okay? So your dream is not a list of goals. It's not a list of to-dos. It's not a generalized, oh, I want to do something in environmental science. I'm going to do something in entertainment. Your vision is crystal clear. It's very specific. And it takes some time to develop that, because not all of us have a very clear vision around what that is, right? Not all of us know just yet. So if that's you, if you're feeling kind of fuzzy, you're feeling kind of vague, that's okay. You just start the work. You can treat this as your day one of exploring and discovering what your vision, specifically for your professional area of your life, is. Okay? Now, there was no way that who I was when I was in college could have ever predicted that this is what I was going to do for work when I was 40. Because one, I had never even heard of a coach before outside of an athletic scenario, right? I knew obviously sports coaches and team coaches and things like that. But the idea of a life coach, an athlete transition coach, and a life expansion coach, relationship coach, any of that was like, I've never even heard of those terms at that time. You never know where life's going to take you. Okay. You're not supposed to be figuring out your final destination. Like, this is the thing, and I want to do this until the day I die. Like, if that's you, that's great, but it doesn't have to be that way. What we're looking for is we're tuning into, for this season of my life, here's how I would love to share my gifts and talents. Here's the environment in which I would love to work. Here are the people I would love to work with, for, and to help, to serve. That's the space that we're playing in. Your vision today is not going to be the same vision that you have 10 years from now. It will evolve because you are evolving. That's going to shift. It's going to grow as you grow. As you get exposed to more possibilities, more ideas, more opportunities, more people, your awareness starts to expand in terms of what it understands as possible. And when you are tuning into that piece of you that detects, ooh, I love this, or I don't love this, that like radar detection system is going to be interacting with all of those new things that you're experiencing as you grow and as you move through life. And it's going to say, wait a minute, I've never heard of that before. I think I love that. Let me look more into that. And so what's happening is your sense of desire, your sense of growth is going to overlap your life's journey. And that beautiful crossover section is where you get to play and ask yourself, would I love this as a potential area of work? Now you can already tell that this is going in a different direction than like, you need to get your resume in order and you need to start networking and you need to We can get to that later, but this is not about dusting off your resume. This is not about printing out your CV from your past college, university stuff. Literally anyone can teach you that. The approach that I use is around, let's start with you first. Not let's go on LinkedIn and see what jobs are out there. Let's go look and see who's hiring and use that as the foundation and the filter through which you assess potential opportunities. We start with you and say, what would you love? If you could make it up any way you wanted to, what kind of work would you be doing? Who would you be helping? What kind of cause would you be aligned with? How would you feel during and after your work days? Right? We start with the inside and then we move to the outside. Something that your vision also is, it's a narrative. It's a story. It's as if you and I were to sit down for a meal, not just a quick coffee, for a meal, let's say 3 years from now. And I'm like, oh my gosh, it is so good to see you. Julie, it's amazing to see you. Mira, it's amazing to see you. Oh my gosh, I have heard incredible things are going on at work for you. I want to hear everything. And then I sit down and I start eating and I'm like, lay it on me. Tell me everything. Give me all the details. What would you love to be able to tell me about your working life, your working area of your life? Because this is you and I catching up about your work. This version of you, she also has her personal life, her relationships, what she does for fun, what's going on in her health and fitness, what's going on in her bank account, what's going on her calendar, right? Everything. We are such multidimensional and multifaceted beings that when you build out your whole vision, and this is what I work with for my long-term clients on, that can take a while. If I were to sit down and you were to ask me, Robin, what's going on with your life? Things seem so good. I'd be like, okay, well, how much time do you have? Because I can sit here and talk to you for hours just about my work. I can sit here and talk to you just about my relationship with my husband. I can sit here and talk to you about my relationship with my family members, my parents, my siblings, my friends. Today's session is strictly focusing you and your brain on your professional area of what you would love in this life. Okay, so while that version of you also has the rest of her life, we're going to focus the narrative of her vision on what's going on with you for work. You know your vision is really your vision when it feels slightly impossible, sometimes maybe even totally impossible, right? This is such a great checkpoint for whether or not your vision is venturing into the goals and to-do list no-no zone, because you shouldn't be able, today's version of you should not be able to just do her vision. If I just had enough time, if I just had enough money, then I could go get that job, or I could go start that business, or I could go da-da-da-da. Well, then that's not your vision. That's a goal. It's a worthy goal, as Bob Proctor would say. But it's not your vision. Your vision is designed, the whole reason it exists is to help grow you. If you think of an image of someone riding a horse, or I think growing up, like the children's books made it be like you were riding a donkey or something, and you're holding a fishing pole out with a little carrot on the end to get the donkey to move forward, because they're historically quite stubborn animals. If they don't want to move, they're not going to move, right? So the idea is that if you put a carrot on the stick, the donkey will start moving towards the carrot and it will start walking in the direction that you point the carrot. Your vision is the carrot on the stick. Your vision is designed to get you to grow into the version of you who is living that life, who is doing that job, who is running that business, whatever kind of professional situation you want for yourself. Today's version of you She doesn't know how it's going to happen. She doesn't know how to do it. She needs to grow certain things about herself in order to be a match for that job. Right? So, for example, one of my clients was working for a very big name company and highly successful, making amazing amounts of money, traveling all over the country. I was going to say the world, but I think she was on the national team, traveling all over the country to go to these different conferences, go to different trainings. It was very, on the surface, like a very glamorous lifestyle. She came to me because she was running on fumes, because management was mistreating her, because her health was all over the place, because it was normal. It had become normal for her to cry every day because she was so upset about the feedback that she was getting. She was being managed and assessed differently than her coworkers. Let's just say it like that. And she couldn't see any other position because her idea, if I leave this very well-known, highly respectable organization that pays me all this money and I get all these amazing benefits, and this is like the job that people dream of, if I leave that, I will be blacklisted in the industry. Like, how dare you? Like, leave us. What's wrong with you? Everyone wants to work here. Why would you not want to work here? That she was worried that she'd be blacklisted. She was worried that she would never make the same money again. That she was worried that she would never find work in that field. Because she had become so entrenched in the stereotypes of that industry, and this is the healthcare industry, the stereotypes of the industry had formed blinders over what she was able to see as being possible for her. So our work together helped her to take off the blinders and say, hey, you can make this up any way you want to. You don't have to listen to that boss that always screams at you for being a terrible employee, but always gives you a bonus at the end of the year. Maybe what he's saying isn't exactly accurate, right? Sometimes the impossibility of our vision of what we would love, and her vision at that point was just to leave the company and be in a healthy job. That's as far as she could see by the time we started working together at the very beginning of our work together. She was like, I can't keep doing this. I am destroying my body. I am so emotionally all over the place because everyone is so mean to me there. And she was falling apart in a lot of senses of the word. And so at that point, that version of her could only create a vision of, I would love to work somewhere that respects me and that I'm not crying every single day or every single week. And to me, I'm like, girl, you're not exactly asking for the sun and the stars here. You're not exactly asking for like ridiculous things, but in her mind, they felt ridiculous because it seems so far away. So I'm not saying that you are necessarily in such an extreme situation, but I use that extreme example to illustrate how today's version of us can only see so far. This is why your vision is an ever-evolving thing. So whatever it is that you would love for your work for 2024, maybe it's transitioning jobs, maybe it's moving into a new role, maybe it's starting your own business, maybe it's going to work for a startup, maybe it's working for a nonprofit or starting a nonprofit. There's going to be a part of you that should feel, this feels pretty risky, impossible. I don't know how this is going to happen. That fog should be there. So it's a little bit of a temperature check. So when you start to explore the question, what would I love? What kind of work would I love to do this year? By December 31st, what kind of work would I love to be contributing to? You should start to have a vague idea, or if you've been working on this for a while, maybe it's more crystal clear, but there should be a feeling of, oh my God, I have no idea how this is going to happen. Or I have some idea, but man, I'm going to need a lot extra like magical stuff to happen for this to really come through for me. Okay. So when you have your vision, it serves as your compass. This is now the thing that you make your decisions using. When you have your vision, it's going to ask you to make uncomfortable moves in your life. That's growth. Growth is inherently uncomfortable. We are wired to not get uncomfortable. This is why it's so important for us to have a vision that we are really in love with. Because when it's time to make some uncomfortable moves, the love that you have for your vision must outweigh the discomfort of the unfamiliar that is approaching. It helps you to stay true to your course. This is your compass saying, well, I have to have an uncomfortable conversation with my boss, but I know this is the next right step in the direction of my vision. So for example, a few years ago, just as a very short insight into my background, before I was doing this work, I started my business in 2016. I've been working in this space since 2016. Before that, I was a project manager in tech, specifically Silicon Valley. Very glamorous lifestyle. I also was traveling all over the world. I was running these big events. I was working with some very interesting people all across the world on some pretty interesting technology. And that background came back after I had started this business, and someone else in Silicon Valley said, hey, I love what you're doing now. We have a tech startup. Would you want to be a co-founder with me? So for a short while, and I said yes, because I asked the question, do I love this? Does this help me with my mission of women's empowerment? And their mission of the company was around women's empowerment, specifically in the workplace, though. So female employees, typically in tech industry companies, the challenges that the startup was addressing was helping those women get more visibility and move up in the ranks in their jobs. So it's a very specific version of women's empowerment. And I was like, you know what? Falls under the umbrella. I'm in for it. This sounds interesting. This team is amazing. Yeah, I'm in for it. So for a short while, I was a co-founder of a startup in Silicon Valley. Things went on. We had different leadership styles. We had different ways of making decisions. And I started to realize this is actually no longer part of my dream. So I had a lot of affection for the other co-founder. I had a lot of admiration for her career. I loved her vision for her. But when I realized, wait a minute, this is now starting to bleed into my vision of what I see myself doing and serving at my highest in this world, I knew right away that because I was serving her vision at the expense of my vision, I knew I had to leave. I knew this is no longer a part of my future. And so we sat down. I had a very honest conversation with her to tell her my realization. She got very upset, understandably. She hung up on me. This was a Zoom call. It's been a long time since someone's hung up on me. The last time someone did it was my mom when I was like 18 years old and staying out too late. And she was so angry at me, like, get your butt back in the house. No one's hung up on me as an adult in my grown-up professional life, right? But it was okay because I knew she was rocked by the news. Co-founder was leaving. I was also the main presenter for a lot of the work that we were doing for our clients. I had introduced her to a lot of other people who would be fabulous in the position. So I felt like I was leaving with integrity. Saying I'm not just going to say, hey, peace out. This is cramping my style. Go figure it out. Saying here are some people who I need, who you've already met, who are going to be great at this position. But obviously she's still upset. I do not like confrontation. In the beginning, it felt like confrontation. But then letting the higher self come through, I was like, you know what? This is actually the most loving thing because she doesn't need a co-founder whose heart isn't in it. So this wasn't just about like me going for my dream. I'm like, me sticking around is actually doing her and her dream a disservice, because she needs, in order for this to take off and be super successful, she needs people who are all in, and I'm not all in anymore. And so sometimes we're going to be asked to have very difficult conversations, make hard choices, do things that are unfamiliar, uncomfortable. And so you've got to be totally passionately in love with your vision to stay the course, to trust that compass. Okay. Now, this takes work, this takes discovery, this takes diligence in staying committed to the question: what is my vision? Do I love it? What would I love even better? And we start to tease it out and tease it out and tease it out. So when you think about your vision and you're asking your questions, you're asking yourself those kinds of questions, understand that this is you can think of it as like a sacred play space. We're not making any decisions. We're not making any commitments right now. We're just asking the question: what is my vision? In that space, understand that there are no rules. There's no judgment here, and assume there are no negative repercussions. Especially as women, we tend to water down our vision because we assume it's going to make other people's lives really inconvenient or really uncomfortable, or they're going to judge us, or they're going to say that's crazy. And so we're like, yeah, you know what? That's probably too much work, or yeah, they're probably right. It's just not going to be worth it. And so we convince ourselves that because of the inconvenience to other people, or because of the opinions of other people, that our dream isn't worth having in the first place. So what I want you to write down are these series of questions. First, what would I love? It's the simplest version and the essence of all of this. When we're exploring what our vision is, especially for our professional life in 2014, oh my God, 2014, 2024 and beyond, what would I love? What would I love even more? Because what would I love gets us here. What would I love even more gets us here. What would be even better still? And we're really stretching the imagination, really getting expansive with what we're allowing ourselves to understand, to know, to believe is possible for us. Right? So what would I love? What would I love even more? What would be even better still? Okay. Now, specifically to your work, what work would be really fulfilling for me? You can go ahead and write that down. What work would be really fulfilling to me? Consider that if you had all of your bills paid, all of your financial obligations were taken care of, how would you be spending your time? Okay. What causes would you love to contribute your talents and efforts and time toward? Because a lot of times fulfillment in work comes from being aligned with a mission. And so when you start to explore that, and this might take some revisiting. So this is why I want you to write this down so you can come back to it. This world needs a lot of help in a lot of different areas. I'll just say that lightly to keep it high level. There's a lot of things that could use your specific gifts, talents, experiences, insights, your personality. So sometimes it can be very fulfilling when we align ourselves with a mission that supports a vision of the world we would love to be in. So for example, for me, very passionate about the environment, and specifically about biodiversity and wildlife conservation. So what I'm exploring now, because I'm revisiting and expanding my vision, is taking a look at what role would I love those causes to play in my professional life. Now, causes don't have to play a part in your professional life. It's a wonderful way to support those causes, but please know that you don't have to. There's a requirement there. When we explore the causes that mean a lot to us, that can help us feel very tethered and emotionally invested in our work. So that can help amplify and enhance our experience of work, but it is not necessary. I just want to put that out there. Okay. Now, are there, and kind of along these lines, when you're looking for what's my next professional dream, are there any, we already talked about causes, are there any communities of people that I would feel so fulfilled in serving? And so for me, I won't get into it now, but I have, unfortunately, as do too many other women in this world, a history of domestic violence. Me examining what happened there to get me out of a very, very, very serious situation and to not become a statistic in various ways. There was something that happened there. And when I was exploring, okay, I'm leaving the world of tech and I want to do something else, I don't know what that something else is. This was back in 2014, 2015. I took a look at what communities really, really pull on my heartstrings. And for me, it's women who are in situations of domestic violence. And I understand cognitively why I stayed in my situation. We were talking about self-worth. We're talking about deserving. We're talking about comparing myself. Like, there are millions of other people who have it worse, women who have it worse than I do. I should stop complaining and just like get through the day. I understand how our brains rationalize our discomfort. And so I started making, not excuses, but rationalizing is the best word, rationalizing why my situation was the way it was. And then something happened where I realized, wait a minute, this is my future. If I don't make any changes, this is my life. This is my life until the day I die. And according to what's happening in my relationship, the day I die is going to be unnecessarily sooner than later. Okay. There was something that happened in that mindset shift, that belief shift around self-worthiness, around deserving, around what's possible for anybody. And I, in my exploration of what my professional vision was back in 2014, 2015, I said that mindset shift, that belief, that confidence, that understanding of possibility, if I could bottle that up and share that with the world, that would be worth going to work every single day for. So sometimes reflecting on past experience and your life's journey can provide a treasure trove of understanding what is really meaningful to me in terms of causes, situations, it could be products, communities. At this point in your work, I encourage you to take a lay of the land. Just really just survey your current life and your past life. Take a look around you, take a look at your community, take a look at the world around you, and say, where do I actually pay attention more often? Where do my ears perk up when I hear someone talking about a particular thing or community or cause or type of work? Right? Some people, and it doesn't have to be like, I'm saving people from like the trenches. It doesn't have to be super, super serious if that's not calling to you. Like shedding all over the place. It can be, I love the idea of going to work and getting paid to play, to have fun, or to play with colors. Like, I have a good friend of mine who lives in Austin. She loves her work because she gets to be super creative with shapes and colors and textures and textiles in designing beautiful offices for hospitals and for large companies like law firms. And who else was she working for? Anyway, it doesn't matter. She loves the context of her work. She's not saving lives. She's not like, I'm going to rescue the babies of da, da, da. She's designing, she's doing interior design, and she loves it. That's what the vision is about. It's how can we set up your professional life in such a way where you come alive in the presence and process of it. Your vision is designed to help you grow and help you thrive. So it doesn't have to be so serious, right? It doesn't have to be super dramatic. If it is, awesome, go for it. The world needs it. If it doesn't feel that way, that's okay. The world needs that too. A lot of times we want to kind of dismiss our dreams or just kind of downplay them because they're not like curing cancer. Everyone has their own individual dreams for a reason. There's a reason I have my dream. There's a reason you have your dream. There's a reason you have your dream. Collectively, we need all of us to be living whatever our dream is, because that means collectively we are thriving instead of collectively we are stifled. Right? So there's two things I want you to walk away with, because since we started late, I'm going to go for the full 45 minutes, even though it's 12:48 clock time, my time. I'm going to run for the full 45 minutes. We have 5 more minutes left together. I want you to walk away with an exercise called the Magic Wand and the Magical Million. Now, you have a series of questions that we went over in terms of asking yourself and discovering, what would I love in terms of my professional life and professional pursuits this year, or to at least start making moves this year toward that end. Here's an exercise that you can revisit over and over again. This is the Magic Wand. Okay, so it's 2 parts. On a regular basis, I would love to feel ... So in your ideal work situation, what would you love to feel every single day? Because right now, in your current work situation, there's a normal sense of feeling that you have. Like, it might be, at the end of every workday, I feel really tired, I feel really exhausted. Or, oh my gosh, every Monday I feel super frustrated, or I feel already behind in my work. Or Fridays, I feel relief. So we're looking at what are the normal patterns you experience now, and what would you love to be normal instead? Those feelings go into your vision. And remember, your vision is a narrative. So it's as if you and I were sitting down for a meal and I'm like, girl, tell me everything. Your work life seems like it is amazing right now. Tell me everything. You would tell me what you're doing and what's going on in your work. You would also be telling me how you're feeling. Like, oh my gosh, Wednesdays are my favorite days because this happens. Or, oh, I love Mondays. Like, so many people complain about the Sunday scaries or being stressed on Sunday because they got to go to work on Monday. But honestly, like, I love Mondays. That could be true for you. So that type of stuff, incorporate it in your vision. On a regular basis, I would love to feel ... And the other part of the Magic Wand exercise is, on a regular basis, I would love to be doing ... You can use this as a journal prompt that you open and close your day with. You can use it when things get frustrating or annoying or stressful at work. You can say, okay, instead of feeling and doing this stuff, here's what I would love instead. On a regular basis, I'd love to be feeling this instead. I'd love to be doing this instead. A lot of times when we're starting to craft a vision, we know what we don't want anymore, but we're not so clear on what we do want. So that little word instead can be remarkably empowering when we're taking a look at, well, here are the things I hate about my job, or here are the things that I'm just so over in my work. Then ride that wave, ride that sentiment, and ask yourself, okay, so what would I love to be feeling and doing instead? And that will catapult you into the want, the desire, the creation, exploratory, imaginative space, instead of mired and stuck in the this sucks space. Okay, so that's the Magic Wand. On a regular basis, I would love to feel and do ... The other exercise is called the Magical Million. Now, the prompt is, if Coach Robin gave me $1 million and 1,000,000 minutes, and all of my responsibilities in my life were taken care of. So you don't have to use that $1 million or use that 1,000,000 minutes for anything. kids are taken care of, the pets are taken care of, the bills are taken care of. You don't have to worry about any of it. Okay? If I gave you $1 million and 1 million minutes, I would. And just see what comes out. All of this is to help you develop a sense of desire, a sense of tracking where you come alive. Like, oh my gosh, if I had $1 million, like I would totally go on, let's say, a rainforest tour in the Amazon, and I would give $50,000 of that to the conservation to preserve the rainforest. Like that would be so awesome, right? So my husband and I had a vision moment together the other day, because there's our cat sitter is a local teenager who lives like 2 streets from where we live, and he's raising money to go on a school trip to the Galapagos. I was like, I never went on school trips to the Galapagos. That's very exotic. That's amazing. But the thing is, his mom has been struggling with work, and they can't make up the rest of the money for the trip unexpectedly. They've gone as a family, they've gone through some hardships that have affected their financial situation. So the 16-year-old kid who he has a heart of gold, he is raising the rest of the money through like a GoFundMe through his school. And it's $1,600. It's not like $100,000. He's just looking to make $1,600 to make up the rest of it. And my husband and I were like, one day we would love to just write a check for the whole thing and be like, hey, go have fun. Like that type of write fat checks kind of life is part of our vision shared as a couple. And I'm like, you know what? If there's something that I can do to help someone else's dream come true, do it. Let's do it. That type of action is an example of what you could use your $1 million to do, your 1 million minutes to do. Maybe you want to buy your parents a home that they can retire to. Maybe you want to learn to become fluent in French. I don't know, right? Again, it doesn't have to necessarily be like overtly saving the world. It's how would you come alive using those $1 million and 1 million minutes. For reference, 1 million minutes, I think, comes out to be about 2.5 years or so. That's a lot of time that you can use to do some pretty awesome stuff with. Okay, so I'm going to leave it there for you. The only other thing that I encourage you to do to wrap this all together, when you lean into the prompts, lean into your sense of desire. How would I come alive? Like what kind of version of work would make me so excited to be there every day? What kind of things would I love to be contributing to, or teams I'd love to be a part of, or work I would just love to be doing on a day-to-day basis to get paid to do this? That'd be awesome. Staying in that play space, remembering there are no rules, there's no judgment, and there are no negative repercussions. Okay? This is imaginary play space time. Let that dream see the light of day before we squash it. None of that. Fear, assumptions, judgments, that squashes the dream. We get to the strategy part later. For now, for this month, lean into your vision. Lean into discovering how you come alive, how you might come alive, because this is exploration. Examine the magical $1 million. Examine magical 1 million minutes. What would you do with those minutes and that money? And then write it as a narrative. Remember, it's you and I sitting down for lunch. I'm like, girl, your life looks incredible. Your job looks amazing. The work you're doing in this world, what? Tell me all about it. Take everything that's coming alive for you, all the ideas that are dropping in, write it in a narrative and saying, Robin, let me tell you, oh my gosh, da, 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 da. Write it as if it's already happening. Okay, that brings our monthly masterclass to a close. I would love for you to share with me. You know how to get in touch with me, either Instagram or LinkedIn, or kind of Facebook, but mostly Instagram and LinkedIn. Let me know how this goes for you. Now, every month, at the beginning of the month, like I said, I'm going to be doing a new masterclass. So I have to see when the next masterclass is. Actually, if you guys have a second, it's going to be February 7th, Wednesday, February 7th, same time. It will also be a live stream. And then our next Reflect and Reset will be at the end of January on the 25th. And that will also be a live stream. This is where we're going to take stock of your month of January. We're going to reflect on how amazing it was for you, where you're going, where you're headed, and then we're going to reset and get you set up for February. Now, one of the things that you might want to prioritize for the month of January is to get clear on what your vision is. That's a wonderful way to align your thoughts, your energy, your intentions, your actions toward getting clear on what that is, because your vision serves as your compass. So you better make sure that you love where that compass is pointing, right? So when we meet again for the Reflect and Reset session on January 25th, how cool would it be to be celebrating the progress you've made on your vision? Just planting a seed there. Now, the replays are going to be available in the You've Got Next Foundations membership. So, let's see. That's something that is brand new as of very, very recently, as of December, that you get to be a part of, to watch the replays, as well as start to meet everyone else in this community. Founders rates are here. And gosh, where did I put it? Oh, it's right here. It's right here. Okay. This is something that you get to be a part of if it's something that you're interested in. I think you'll be able to see this if I put that in the chat. Okay, so this is the link specifically for the foundations. It's the basic level of membership. It's $47 a month. You get access to all the recordings of all the trainings. Excuse me. And you get to meet everyone else in the community as this community flourishes. And you also get access to what I do are weekly Monday messages, which is what I used to only provide for my clients, my year-long 5-figure clients. This is for everyone now. Okay, every Monday I send a message into this space where you get to structure your attention for the week, get focused, get centered to make sure you're setting yourself up for an incredible, expansive, self-empowered week. Okay, so not too bad for $47 a month. Let me know if you have questions. I hope you found this valuable. Please share this schedule with other folks. And I will see you on the 25th for the Reflect and Reset session. If I don't see you before in the client space before then. Have a wonderful, wonderful day. I'll talk to you soon.